don't have any touch with such animals, or they are never in the nature and people don't know the things. So my name is Adrian, I am 27 years old, and what I do in my living is to breeding insects. I do a lot of social media and a lot of stuff with nature. I do also a lot of experiments with plants, insects, everything what have to do with the nature I'm interested in. I'm originally from Poland. We moved when I was 10 years old to Germany. Before I've been in Poland like a normal life where I have been already very interested in insects and animals. I spent like the whole time outside in the nature. Like at this time already, when I was very young, like the school was not really interesting for me. I was like more interested in the animals. And after we moved to Germany, it still keep going with the animals. And I grow up for real like with animals. I go to school, come back, go to the pet shop, and I just think about animals and insects like my whole life. I always say that it never begins because like it was always inside me. I started to collect insects from outside. I had like a lot of animals at home. I didn't study. I have been like at a normal public school until I have been 16 years old. In Germany you have to go like until you're 18 to the school, but at 16 I stopped and I go to the historic museum in Karlsruhe, where I have been in the animal area. So I have like feeding all the animals, I clean that. I have also been in the entomology, so we also like prepare a lot of insects. I've been at work, but it was for free, so I had to be like 2 years there and working like for free until I have been 18. Then I still stayed at the museum. At this time, when I have been at the museum, I started my company, the Insecthaus. I tried a lot. I sold already a lot of animals, and this company grows and grows, and now I'm here. Basically, just as you know, I've been always like, also in the school, I never wanted to learn. Everything I know in my life, I've learned like by myself, what I was interested in. No, I never had any inspiration. It was like really just me. Also like no one in my family had something to do with animals and nature. I had like no one who I was like fan of. I would just like look at him up. It was like always just me, and I always like did for myself. I was very interested in the nature and the insects. And I wanted to see more species. I was like always very excited to see the animals, and the nature was the inspiration. I have here a friend with me, and this is a giant leaf insect, called also Phelium giganteum. Insect species which comes from Malaysia. Maybe you know the stick insects. This is also the same family like a normal stick insect, but through the evolution they like grow the sides. They look like a leaf, but it's basically the same family like a normal stick insect. The very interesting thing at this species is that they can reproduce with right now. They have no males. It means the very interesting thing at this species is that the males don't exist. So there are only females of this species in the world. That's something like very, very special. So the females laying eggs every day and the eggs hatch. Like after 3-4 months, the eggs hatch and the only females will hatch. So this species don't need any males. They're sitting like in the trees in Malaysia. Like a very special one of this species. They are like from Highland in Malaysia, Cameron Highlands. It's like one of my favorites. I love all the species with the nice mimicry, like the leaves and every species which looks like anything. I love them. No, they're not dangerous. They can do nothing. So when they are scared, the one thing what they can do is to look like they are died. So they can fall down on the ground and just not moving. They just trust in yourself that they are alive. That's a very big thing, because like normally like everyone is scared of insects and bugs, and I think it's like just the thing that every people right now, like in this generation for example, like growing up, we don't have any touch with such animals, or they are never in the nature and people don't know the things. And humans are so that when we don't know anything, or when we don't know the animal, for example, then we don't touch it. So something in the brain from human that when you don't know it, then we are scared of it. In my videos, I got like a lot of messages, like daily messages, that people watch my videos with the insects and they lose the fear of them. So they're not scared anymore, just from watching the insects, because they see how I handle them, they see them on my hands, how they move. Just through the watching from my videos, people can lose the fear of them. The Insecthaus company started in 2011. Had already at this time like a lot of animals, a lot of insects, and I wanted to do a Facebook page for the insects, where I show the photos, videos of them, what I have, what I sell, and I needed a name for it. And in my head comes like Insecthaus. I don't know why, because I wanted to do like an English word and a German word. So it comes to Insecthaus. It was like the name for the Facebook page. Like opened the company because I sold already at this time the animals. Yeah, I have been like on like reptile shows where I had always a table when I was a kid and I sell the insects. Like everyone knew about me already. The Adi, the small Adi with the good species, because I always got like very good species and I have like a talent to breed them. So I never had them before, but I like success with breeding them. Yeah, I've been always interested in how the insects grow, for example. I started also already breeding with the native species. So I collected, for example, caterpillars of some butterflies from outside in Germany. I wanted to know what will grow up from them. So then I, for example, had the caterpillars and I grew them up to the butterfly. And it was like very fascinating for me and I was like very interested in breeding of every species. I wanted to see them in very small and in adult. And it's also with every insect species. When every insect hatch like at this size, then some insects grow like to this size. When this species hatched, it's like they look like they're red. When they hatch like this size, like 1 centimeter long, red, and doesn't look like a leaf. And then something like that grows up. And I always tried to breed like new species which I never had before. So I always tried out, and we started one time to do like the expeditions to Asia, where I discovered like a lot of new species and also new species which never been in the breeding, or no one in this world knew anything about the breed of them. No one knew how the eggs looks like, no one knew how they grows up. And yeah, then I tried like almost to breed and to understand them. I always wanted to understand the insects and how they grow, how they reproduce, and how they exist. So I am mostly specialized in praying mantises. Mantis, like there are animals like these insects. There are also a lot of species, like 3,000 species of them. It's like very special insects. Move like a little bit like an alien. They have a head. They look around. Normally insects are not able to move with the head. Praying mantises, they look at you. They are like very human-like. It's like very scary for a lot of people. The breeding room looks like a big laboratorium. Like there's like big room, and the whole walls are with the terrariums and tanks, boxes, everywhere lights. They're like always 25 Celsius, the temperature. Always did everything by myself. That was also like a thing that I never wanted help from anyone. At one time I have also like over 100 species at the same time in the breeding, and I sold to wholesaler. That was a time where I think about that. Maybe I need help. I need someone who also feeding with me. Still did always by myself because I don't want that someone else comes there and he would do it differently than I do. Yeah, I've been always scared of that. Breed anymore like a very big amounts from the wholesaler. It's like more for me already, so I don't need to breed. So, no? I have still like big breeding rooms with animals, but it's like for my experiments right now I have maybe like 1,000 animals. I had some small accidents with insects, with bugs. Not many, but there was some, like with scorpions for example. I got 2 times stung by a scorpion, like one time by an Asian scorpion and one time by a forest African scorpion. I don't have any species which are very venomous, only like very weak species. Also not so bad, and I got stung by the scorpions because it was like a sting of a wasp, for example. It was a little bit swollen for one day, that's all. It's not bad. I don't had any really like bad accidents. And I know like all the insects and the animals, how they move, how they react to anything, and it's like mostly I know what happened, what will happen in the next minutes. I know what the animals will do. So I can predict that, so that nothing can happen. Almost in every direction of insects and invertebrates, every direction of animals. So there was like millipedes, beetles, scorpions, butterflies, any stick insects, the praying mantises, centipedes, millipedes. There was like everything there. I tried everything possible. Everything was possible to breed, I tried it. There's a lot of species which need like very special foods. We have to figure out what for plants they eat, for example. But yeah, already I seen everything. On my first expeditions, so many species which I never seen before. So there's so many species. It's difficult. There are still a lot of new species in the nature. I found also a lot of new species, but it will be nothing very crazy looks like of the new species. Everything what's not described until now is like mostly very small species. The biggest difference between like Asia and Europe, for example, of the insect world is that in Asia the insects like a lot bigger because of the climate. So they don't have the winter, where the lot insects like in Europe will die at the winter or make a pause, a diapause it's called. In Germany, for example, all the insect species are gone. Spring they will hatch again. And in the Asia, for example, in the tropical, the whole time the generation never stops. It never stops. There is a dry time and a rain time. It's for some species very important that they have the dry time, but for the most it doesn't matter. So there are a lot of species, they have like a lot more time to evolve, so they will be never stopped in their generations. So there are so many species which are very adapted to exactly to the biotopes where they live in. So there is the variability of millions of species. For example, just in Malaysia there are like 5 million insect species, and in Germany we have maybe 100,000 species. For example, like the European species are not interesting for me. First of all, most of them are like protected, and second, it's very difficult to breed like German insects. I'm only specialized like in Asian insects, for example. I can keep them at home the whole time without problems.